My mom and I had a special, special bond. And I remember growing up thinking, I can never lose her. She can't die. I just really struggled with a fear of death. About 5 years ago, I was sitting in a hospital room and the doctor came out and told me that my mom was filled with cancer. It was stage 4. And the first thing that came into my mind was, how am I gonna do this? This is death. I remember sitting at the foot of her bed and I looked at her and she grabbed my hand and I said, Mom, you've got cancer and it's everywhere. And the first thing she said was, how are you? She just sat up and said, Lisa, this is just a hoot. She just exactly said, this is gonna be a party. This isn't a death sentence, this is about living. We're gonna find joy in a really dark place. Which started the journey. On her very first day of chemo, I came with party hats, different t-shirts, little balloons. We made it a party. Some days when I was told Mom was gonna get bad news, I'd come in a chicken suit. Her oncologist was required to wear a party hat whenever he did his exams. Chemo treatments became not only a party, but an opportunity to just love. We literally saw a transformation in that chemotherapy unit, from death to parties. At that same part of the journey with Mom, Mavis entered. Mavis Pearl. She is hilarious. During chemo treatments with my mom, she would often talk about, I wish Mavis was here, I wish Mavis was here. People started to learn that I had Mavis Pearl and she was a therapy dog, and we got a call one day to see if they could get special permission to go up to this little girl's room who was in her final stages of cancer. They really wanted Mavis to be there. I just remember hearing a squeal when she walked into the room and there was just laughter, and I was like, I must have the wrong room. And I looked in and I had the right room. I just picked up Mavis, she wanted her in her lap, and the mother came to me and said, she looks like she did before she had cancer the most when she's with Mavis. We realized, wow, Mavis can really play an important part in this. My mom was spunky, and she said to me many times, there will be no black at my funeral and there will be party hats. It's a celebration. She says, I'm home. I'm home. And there's no fear in the grave. There's no fear in death. It's a party. Talk about the living. Tell people to savor the seconds. The journey continued for 5 years. Five of the best years of my life. How can you have 5 of the best years of your life when you're facing death? She showed me how. There was no fear. I had a front row seat to the biggest homegoing party ever. What an honor. It wasn't scary. I saw her there so peacefully, and I knew she was home. In the last few months, I've been able to be with other people as they've gone home, and people have said, how can you do that? Isn't that scary? From a girl that was absolutely petrified of death, it's like God has transformed my heart to see that there is life in death. The Good Shepherd does take it personally. He takes you by the hand and he leads you to the grandest party. What an honor to be there as he's ushering them home. This is the shirt that I wore to her funeral. She picked it out when I got up to speak. I looked out in this huge sanctuary, and there were not just paper party hats. There were balloon hats. There were chicken hats. It was a sea of color. I just wanted to look up and say, they really did wear party hats. Focus on living, knowing that there's nothing to be afraid of. That yes, this journey is raw and there's gonna be some ugly in it. But God is there to take our hands and to show us little miracles along the way that just kind of catapult us right to where he wants us to be. Through her journey of darkness, not only was she able to have such a great homegoing, but we've been able to see other people be ushered in that might not have been. Mavis goes to that same chemotherapy unit, and she goes from cubicle to cubicle to cubicle, and we bring joy. we bring a smile. We began something that grew so much bigger than we could ever dream. And what I realized was that there was nothing to fear at all. There is so much joy in the darkest place. I am so not afraid of death. The dying part and life can sometimes be raw, just raw. But he gives us that hope that he's there to walk with us. The darkest part of my life, I can say without a shadow of a doubt, has been the most brilliant, treasure-filled, joyful place, because I have never felt Jesus like I have felt in this journey. There was just a shift. There really was joy in death.